Hey, what is up, y'all? Hi, Shelly here. What is shaking? Wednesday night. Okay, so I usually don't hop on this late, but I'm hopping on tonight because, well, as usual, I've got something to say. Shocking! At any rate, so, I mean, maybe I won't have the level of energy that I normally would at like 8 or 9, but I just got home and I was out with a friend and we were talking about something, and y'all know when I got something to say, so hi, here I am again. Hello. Here's some Wednesday wisdom for Wednesday for y'all. So at any rate, let me start with this. If you've seen anything I've posted before, which I've only posted a couple things, but usually I've got stuff to say, so I rattle stuff off. I'm rattling stuff off all the time. So I just had dinner with a friend, and we were discussing. She actually asked me, hey, I saw your live videos, and you haven't changed, Shelly. I've known this girl for about 20 years. And she said, you're just so full of energy, and I don't know how you do, blah, blah, blah. But what she asked me was, when I came on my lives, the couple lives that I've posted or whatever, like a couple, I think I've done 2, maybe 3, but it's been a couple weeks. She said, do you write it down? Like, do you prepare what you're gonna say? Y'all gonna love this, okay? First of all, the answer is no. I don't prepare what I'm gonna say, like in terms of writing it out. However, I talk to myself. So, she's known me for a long time. She know I'm cray, like little cuckoo, right? So it was no real big deal to her to hear me say like, I just talk to myself before I go live. And here's the funny thing about that. It's not like I think I want to go live and then I talk to myself. What happened was I end up walking around the house talking to myself, or like just a couple days ago, I probably should have gone live. I was out on my deck and something got to me. I don't want to say got to me, but like something like just like really pulled on my heartstrings. And so I kind of started like walking around my deck talking and stuff. And my neighbors already know or think I'm crazy. Shout out to Aaron and Jackie Pound. I'll tag them in this. They'll watch it. They'll be like, ugh, damn, there she goes again. But so, I was walking around talking on my deck, and so I just always talk to myself. When I work, different places I work. If I'm working, I'm talking to myself like as I work. I don't know if that's in like the DSM psychological issues. Just add it to the list. Anyway, so to answer your question, I hopped on here tonight. Answer whose question? I didn't answer nobody's question. Maybe I am. We'll find out here in the next few minutes. My girlfriend asked me if I prepare before I get on, and I was like, no. And then her and I got into talking a conversation about what I posted, I guess, last week. And I was talking about people pleasing. And I was talking about like, people pleasing is a problem, period, right? People pleasing is a problem, period. That sounded catchy. People pleasing is a problem, period. Okay, so that's what I was talking about last week, because the week before I was talking about voices in your head and why do we listen to the voices in our head, and then I like piggybacked it because it bothered me for several days, because like, why do we listen to the voices in our head? So last week I was talking about because we're trying to please people, and we listen to the voices in our head, we're going to let people down, and we don't want to disappoint anybody or piss anybody off, and blah blah blah, and that's why we always trying to people please. But I went back when I got home tonight and I watched my video back last week, and I don't normally do that. I go live and then I've uploaded them, and I went back and I was watching it, and towards the end there, if you haven't seen it, like I did, it's public and you can catch it or whatever. I try not to be long-winded, y'all, but I'm sorry, okay? Like, I'm like Shelly in 6 minutes. I would love to be able to, like, if I had a YouTube channel or something, Shelly in 6. I don't know if I could ever, like, cram it down to 6. So the last couple videos are like 10 minutes. But anyways, once again, I digress. Okay, so towards the end of that last video, I started talking about acceptance, okay? Because I was saying, like, why do we try to people please? And I was rattling off things like, well, we don't have any boundaries. We don't know how to say no. And also because we're insecure, or because we're codependent. That's a whole nother issue for a whole nother day, right? So no boundaries, we're insecure, we're codependent, we don't know how to say no, blah, blah, blah. But then the last thing I said is like, at the end of the day, like, all we're really trying to do is be accepted. So sit on that for a minute, because that's what I'm about to run my mouth about tonight. And let me just preface the run in the mouth thing with, the only reason I hop on here and do this kind of stuff is like, the past few weeks even, because this is like new to me. This is all new to me. I'm not like some Facebook Live personality. But I just always feel like I got something to say, and I feel like if something I say resonates with somebody, if like you can relate to this, because this is me. When I talk about what I'm talking about, this is stuff that I've gone through, with stuff I've walked, stuff I've struggled with, stuff that I'm thinking about like, man, I always just wanted to be accepted. I just wanted to be accepted, you know? You do things, you're in high school, you peer pressure, you high school, who am I kidding? I mean, it wasn't up until like 2 or 3 years ago in like my late 30s that I was like still trying to be like the cool kid and doing whatever I thought was necessary to fit in, right? Which, if you don't know me yet, I'm over that, okay? And that's what I'm gonna talk to y'all about tonight, because acceptance, all right? Here's what I figured out in the last couple years. We're always trying to be accepted, right? But the paradox in that, the irony in that is, and I think it was Jim Carrey that I heard say this at one point, and I don't know if it's his original, you know, from a speech he gave or whatever, but when we're trying to be accepted, that's when we end up being invisible. So let me sit on that for a second. When we're trying to be accepted is when we end up being invisible, because here's the thing. When we're trying so hard to be accepted and get like to fit in, right, is when we're not being ourselves. We're not being because if you have to try to be accepted, you're absolutely not being yourself. You know, you hear people say, you know, like, oh, let's just try to be myself. You don't have to try to be yourself, okay, y'all? You don't. It's natural. Yourself is just that, yourself. So you don't have to try to be yourself. But when you're trying to fit in, you're trying to be accepted, you end up being invisible. You're trying to be seen, yet you're trying so hard to be something that you're not or something that other people like that you end up being invisible. Because you're afraid, most people, at least me, to be my own damn self, because when you end up being your own damn self, then, you know, you're afraid that, you know, that you won't be accepted, or that you'll make other people insecure, or you'll intimidate them if you like shine your light. Like one thing I used to say always in college, and I still kind of say it, I've said it for years, but I used to say like, oh, my future's so bright, I gotta wear shades. And there was a period of time I went through that. I was like, oh, that sounds so arrogant. That sounds so conceited. Yeah, well, no, really it doesn't. My future is so bright. I gotta wear shades, okay? And I feel that it's so bright because in me, I so love me and I so accept me anymore for who I am, whether other people like me or not. I'm good with it. You know, my future's so bright, I gotta wear shades. And if my light is so bright that it blinds you, okay? Let me take off my shades and let you borrow them, okay? If my light is so bright that it blinds you. Or go get your own shades, I don't know. But at the end of the day, you know, I for so long I didn't feel like that. Like I did not love me. I tried so hard to fit in. I tried so hard to be accepted. If anybody can relate to this, I mean, like, I was just thinking today about like what a mental health crisis we're in this country, about like, you know, people not loving themselves and people being miserable and people reevaluating who they are and what they are and so on and so forth. And then, you know, at the end of the day, it comes down to acceptance, and we want to be accepted. But the thing is, the fact of the matter is, if you don't accept yourself, if you don't love yourself, I know y'all probably heard it before, so I don't mean to be like sound redundant, but it's so true. If you don't love yourself, you don't accept yourself, like, how can you expect anybody else to accept you? And why we try to be something we're not is because society or the people that are close to us, or coworkers or family or friends or lovers or significant others or kids, or, you know, everybody tries to put us in a box, like boxed in. You're like this little box. This is like the analogy that I thought of earlier when I was listening to my other live. You're like in this like little box, like those mattresses that they sell you, right? The really nice mattresses, and they're all compact, and the box shows up on your porch, and you're just like, what the hell? I'm not supposed to be a king? How the hell is that a king? It's all squished in and everything, but you open it out of the box and it just grows, right? It just grows, it expands, it blows up. Well, that's us. That's how we are. It's like we're in this little box of what everybody is trying to put us in, and we're sitting there and we're like, I can't breathe, I'm not me. And then boom, if you can get the courage, which courage is nothing but, you know, the forward motion in the presence of fear, I mean, that's what courage is, but you know, it takes courage to break out the box. I mean, it really does. It takes so much courage because you have to be seen. You have to be your authentic self to be what people don't expect you to be. Or, you know, everybody has these expectations. Well, expectations are planned resentment, y'all. And you have this expectation, and quite frankly, you're never going to be happy until you're your true self. I mean, I hate to break it to y'all, and I don't mean to be like negative Nancy, because that is not I don't roll that way. That's not my vibe. But I'm just trying to share something with you that I know. I was so not happy for so long, and I know people that I know that I know people that are just not happy because they're not being themselves, because they're being something that they're not, and they're being something somebody else expects. They're being a version of themselves that it's not them. Like I said, if you're really trying to be yourself, you know, I'm just trying to be myself. You shouldn't have to try. It should become natural. And if people love you, those are the people that are meant to be in your life. And the ones that don't are expecting you to be something else, then, you know, deuces. You know, just peace out, because you know, when you start to be yourself, you will attract the right people, and you'll be so much happier because you're just fighting against like the rules of the universe when you're not being who you're meant to be. And trust me, I get it. Like,